Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Antonio's Movie Reviews. Today we will be reviewing one of my favorite childhood movies, Double Impact, the 1991 film written and produced by Van Damme and directed by Sheldon Lettich. This is the third collaboration between these two, the first being Bloodsport and then Lionheart. Jean Claude Van Damme plays a dual role in the movie as Chad and Alex Wagner. Geoffrey stars as Chad's adopted Uncle Frank. The movie also stars Bolo Yeung in his second collaboration with Van Damme, the first being Bloodsport, of course, where he gave Van Damme some major trouble. Van Damme wanted to get away from martial arts in this dual role by featuring a love scene, which I wouldn't necessarily call it that. The movie does have a lot of karate kicking though in it, which is definitely what the fans came to see. The softer, non-violent Chad and the cigar-smoking smuggler Alex do a very good job at creating a tense action thriller.
It's gotta be him. Yeah, Joda. You have another business to run in Hong Kong.
I'm not exactly sure what Van Damme is thinking, but that little romance scene that's in this movie, which you'll see later, definitely doesn't take your mind off the fact that Van Damme's fighting style is especially the reason you're watching this movie. He was apparently inspired by seeing Jeremy Irons play dual roles in Dead Ringers. The twins end up separated at birth, but after 25 years, Geoffrey Lewis has finally found Alex in Hong Kong. The streetwise Alex is a stark contrast to his brother, Mr. Silk Underwear. Nevertheless, though, the brothers are in the right place at the right time and reunited now to get back at whoever murdered their parents, which turns out to be a very good twist in the film, if you ask me. This film was it was reviewed pretty badly, to be honest with you. A lot of people thought that Van Damme was trying to do way more acting than was necessary when he's really just known for martial arts. I mean, keep being a karate kicking guy, that's what you do. One thing I will say about this movie in contrast to the other Van Damme martial arts films is there's a lot more gunplay in this one, which may or may not be a good thing for some people.
You go fuck yourself.
To be honest, Jean Claude Van Damme faced some stiff competition when this movie came out. He had to deal with a lot of other action stars at that time. Terminator 2 was on its way, Steven Seagal was really topping charts, and also Lorenzo Lamas, Chuck Norris, and a lot of other people who could fight just as well as Van Damme and had their own fans. Nevertheless, this movie opened at second place when it came out at $7.5 million its opening weekend. This movie had a pretty good budget and production values worthy of a lesser James Bond movie. The movie was shot on location in Hong Kong, and it has Bolo in it, who is a very well respected martial arts artist. There's even enough money in the budget for the two brand new Mercedes to be dumped into the harbor. Like I said earlier, despite the shortcomings of this movie's plot, you still cannot disprove this movie's excellence in terms of action. It's exactly what someone looking for a Van Damme movie wants, 110 minutes of action-packed kicks. Van Damme was reportedly paid $600,000 to play the dual role.
There's two of them.
Ultimately, the movie provides a lot of nostalgia for me personally. My mom recorded it on the same VHS tape as the 1986 Transformers movie, and needless to say, I had to put that tape on before I went to bed every night. I still remember the labels that it had on it. Unable to find Alex and Frank, who are out gathering firewood, Chad takes the boat to rescue Danielle by himself. However, Alex becomes paranoid and begins drinking heavily while imagining Chad and Danielle are hooking up. Chad brings Danielle home, but Kara follows them in a helicopter and discovers their hideout. When they return, Alex attacks Chad in a drunken rage before the brothers angrily part ways for the night. This was a great scene in the movie to see them fighting like this.
Stop that!
The next morning, Chad and Alex awaken to see triads landing on the beach, and although they kill several men, Frank and Danielle are still captured. They capture one triad who reveals that Frank and Danielle have been taken to Zhang's boat at a pier. Chad and Alex board and fight their way through the ship, which is another great action scene in this movie. Van Damme and Lettich had been considering a triple impact for many years, but partly because of the success of this movie, which it actually got around $80 million in the box office on a $16 million budget, they ended up just canning that, but Van Damme was really gung-ho on the idea. You can say that Jean Claude Van Damme is one of the most fascinating performers to emerge from American action movies, in my opinion. He's always been keen to grow as an actor, though. That's why The Muscles from Brussels was really drawn to this movie, because he was like craving change at the time. He wanted to shed his martial arts form and try to become a real actor. Me personally, after receiving $600,000, I probably would have just taken a vacation from making movies, period, for a while if I were him.
Don't fall for that trick, Chad! Don't fall for that trick!
You're dead! Oh, don't worry, Frank. Next time we'll make it real.
It's one thing to play two different characters with their own quirks. Doing so in a way that comes across as natural interactions is even more difficult. This is especially true in the scene where Alex and Chad got into that fight. You know, that had to have been difficult. That's why I thought that was a great scene. Now we get to the long-awaited showdown between Bolo and JCVD. This is definitely not going to be like Bloodsport, I can tell you that. While this movie really didn't change the persona of Jean Claude Van Damme, we really saw that he grew as an actor with this movie. Having those two characters and having them interact so naturally, that had to have been a difficult task, and it really shows me that he had the potential to be more than he was, which we found out later when he made JCVD. Actually, that movie was great. I don't want to pretend that Double Impact was some masterpiece that was going to take Van Damme to the Oscars. It's just a dang good martial arts flick by Van Damme. Basically, what makes the movie so good is that it's just really fast moving. It has really good, slick style and direction, and it's the fights, the chases, the gunplay, everything just makes this a movie that you'd like to watch. This, along with Kickboxer and Bloodsport, are probably my three favorite movies by him, even though he has a lot more. I've seen them all, but those three really stick out to me because I've just loved Bloodsport since I was a kid. Regardless of what you may think about this film, I feel like Van Damme wholly succeeded in starring as two characters who shared the screen for much of the movie. It's definitely not easy for someone to do. The movie had a great happy ending, in my opinion. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Antonio's Movie Reviews. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.